What if I told you the next car parked in your neighbor's driveway won't be from Detroit, Munich, or Tokyo? Yeah, because 5 Chinese brands just rewrote the entire playbook, and they're not playing catch-up anymore. They're leading. These companies aren't just building cars, they're exporting entire ecosystems. EVs that cost half as much but deliver twice the tech, SUVs outselling Ford in markets Americans forgot existed, and hypercars that make Italian engineers sweat. The craziest part? Western governments are scrambling to slow them down with tariffs, bans, and speeches about national security. But here's the truth. When you build better cars at better prices, politics can only hold you back for so long. So buckle up, because we're counting down 5 Chinese automotive giants that are about to flip the global car industry upside down. And trust me, number 1 isn't just a car company. It's an empire that's already bigger than most legacy brands combined. If you want to understand where the car world is headed before your local dealership figures it out, hit subscribe. And if this breakdown saves you from overpaying for outdated tech wrapped in a fancy badge, drop a like. Let's roll. Starting at number 5, MG. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't MG British? Technically, sure, but let's be real. MG hasn't been British in nearly 2 decades. It's owned by SAIC Motor, one of China's automotive giants. And under Chinese ownership, MG went from nearly bankrupt to selling over 840,000 cars globally in a single year. That's not a comeback, that's a resurrection. From the outside, MG knows exactly what it's doing. They're taking that classic British badge, the one people still associate with vintage roadsters and racing heritage, and slapping it on affordable EVs that look way more expensive than they are. Take the MG 4X Power, for example. Sleek hatchback body, sharp LED headlights, sculpted lines that give it a sporty edge. It looks like something Volkswagen would charge 45 grand for, except MG sells it for under 30. And the Cyberster? Oh man, this thing is a straight-up head-turner. Electric roadster with scissor doors, aggressive stance, and styling that screams, yeah, I know I look good. Park it next to a Mazda MX-5, and the Mazda suddenly feels like it's from 2005. Step inside the MG 4X Power, and you're greeted with a clean, modern cabin. Big touchscreen in the center, digital driver display, decent materials that don't feel cheap. The seats are supportive, the tech is intuitive, and honestly, it punches way above its price class. Rear passengers get solid legroom for a hatchback, and the trunk, big enough for a weekend getaway or a Costco run. It's practical without being boring. Now here's where MG flexes. The X-Power isn't just a pretty EV, it's packing dual motors with 435 horsepower. That's enough to launch this thing from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, faster than a Volkswagen Golf R, faster than most hot hatches people brag about. Range sits around 240 miles on a full charge. Not record-breaking, but enough for daily driving and the occasional road trip. Fast charging gets you from 10 to 80% in about 35 minutes. Solid, practical, no drama. And the price? In Europe, the MG 4X Power starts around 38,000 euros. In China, even cheaper. Compare that to a Tesla Model 3 Performance or an Audi S3, and you're looking at saving 10 to 20 grand while still getting performance that embarrasses most gas cars. But here's the genius move. MG isn't trying to be Tesla. They're not chasing luxury or prestige. They're targeting the middle class, the people who want a fun, practical EV without taking out a second mortgage. And it's working. MG is already the fastest growing car brand in Europe. Australia loves them, Southeast Asia can't get enough. Even in the UK, where nostalgia for the old MG brand runs deep, sales are exploding because people realize they're getting incredible value. The question isn't whether MG is coming, they're already here. The question is how long before American buyers start demanding them too. So here's my question. If an MG 4X Power showed up at your local dealership tomorrow for under 40 grand, would you actually consider it? Or does the idea of buying Chinese still feel weird? Let me know in the comments. Because up next at number 4, we've got a brand that went from 0 to global phenomenon in less than a decade, and their EVs are selling faster than legacy brands can keep up. Number 4. Chery. And if you've never heard of them, don't worry, most Americans haven't either, but that's about to change real fast. Chery is one of China's oldest car manufacturers. Founded in 1997, they've been quietly building cars for decades, but here's where it gets interesting. In the last 5 years, Chery exploded onto the global stage with a strategy so simple, it's almost insulting to Western brands. Build solid cars, price them aggressively, export everywhere. And it worked. In 2023, Chery became China's largest car exporter, shipping over 900,000 vehicles to more than 80 countries. That's more than some legacy brands sell globally. The star of their lineup? The Automotive 5, a compact SUV that looks like it borrowed design cues from Range Rover, Porsche, and Audi, then mashed them all together into something that actually works. From the front, you've got a bold grille with sharp LED headlights that stretch back into the fenders. The hood has sculpted lines that give it a muscular stance. From the side, it's got that coupe-like roofline everyone loves, paired with chunky 18-inch wheels that fill the arches perfectly. Around back, a full-width LED light bar ties the whole design together. Honestly, park this next to a Mazda CX-5 or a Honda CR-V, and people will ask which premium brand it is. Step inside the Automotive 5, and you're immediately hit with a sense of quality that shouldn't exist at this price point. Dual 10.25-inch screens stretch across the dashboard, one for the driver, one for infotainment. The materials feel premium, soft-touch plastics, leather-wrapped steering wheel, and ambient lighting that makes the cabin feel upscale at night. The seats are comfortable, with decent bolstering, and rear passengers get solid legroom for a compact SUV. The trunk is spacious enough for family road trips or grocery hauls. It's practical without feeling cheap. Now here's where Chery plays it smart. The Automotive 5 comes in both gas and hybrid versions. The gas model has a 1.6-liter turbo engine with around 197 horsepower, enough to make highway merging easy. The hybrid version pairs a smaller engine with an electric motor for better fuel economy and instant torque. Performance isn't mind-blowing, but it's smooth, refined, and way better than you'd expect from a budget SUV. Chery clearly studied what people actually want: comfort, reliability, and tech, not 0 to 60 bragging rights. In the price? In markets like Brazil, Russia, and the Middle East, the Automotive 5 starts around $20,000 to $25,000, depending on the trim. That's thousands less than a Toyota RAV4 or a Hyundai Tucson, while offering similar space and more tech. But here's where it gets wild. Chery isn't stopping at affordable SUVs. They're building partnerships with European companies, setting up factories in Spain, and preparing to launch in the US market through strategic alliances. Why? Because they know the same thing every Chinese brand knows. If you can crack the American market, you win. And Chery is betting that Americans will choose value over brand loyalty when the price gap is this massive. So here's my question. If a Chery Automotive 5 showed up at your local dealership under 30 grand, fully loaded with tech, would you give it a shot? Or would you still pay more for a Honda badge just because it feels safer? Drop your thoughts below, because up next at number 3, we're talking about a brand that didn't even exist 5 years ago, but is already outselling legacy automakers in China. And their first car is about to land in Europe with a target on Tesla's back. Number 3. Xiaomi. And yeah, you read that right, the smartphone company. Xiaomi built an empire selling affordable high-tech phones that undercut Apple and Samsung. Now they're doing the exact same thing to Tesla, Porsche, and BMW. In March 2024, Xiaomi launched their first car, the SU7, and in less than 6 months, they sold over 100,000 units. That's faster than any EV launch in history, including Tesla's Model 3. From the outside, the SU7 is a straight-up showstopper, low, sleek, and aggressive. The front end has razor-thin LED headlights with a smooth, almost grille-less face that screams aerodynamics. From the side, it's got that fastback silhouette, long hood, short rear deck, and sculpted lines that make it look like it's moving even when parked. The proportions scream Porsche Taycan, and honestly, that's not an accident. Xiaomi openly studied the best luxury EVs on the market and built something that looks just as good for a fraction of the price. Around back, a full-width LED light bar glows at night with animations that make it feel futuristic. The whole car has this premium, high-tech vibe that makes Teslas look basic by comparison. Step inside the SU7 and you're immediately hit with Xiaomi's tech DNA. A massive 16.1-inch central touchscreen dominates the dash, paired with a digital driver display and even a heads-up display. The infotainment system runs on Xiaomi's HyperOS, the same software that powers their smartphones, tablets, and smart home devices. That means seamless integration. Your phone unlocks the car, your smartwatch controls the AC, your smart home turns on when you pull into the driveway. It's less like a car and more like a gadget on wheels. The seats are wrapped in premium vegan leather with heating, cooling, and massage functions. Ambient lighting runs through the cabin, and the panoramic glass roof makes the whole interior feel open and airy. Rear passengers get solid legroom, and the trunk is spacious enough for family road trips or grocery hauls. It's practical without feeling cheap. Now here's where Xiaomi plays it smart. The SU7 comes in both BAS and hybrid versions. The top-spec SU7 Max packs dual motors with 673 horsepower, launching this sedan from 0 to 60 in 2.78 seconds. That's faster than a Porsche Taycan Turbo, faster than a Tesla Model S Plaid in some tests. Range? Around 500 miles on the CLTC cycle, which translates to roughly 400 real-world miles. That's more than most EVs on the market. Charging? With 800-volt architecture, the SU7 can charge from 10 to 80% in about 15 minutes on a fast charger. It's designed to eliminate range anxiety completely. And the price? In China, the SU7 starts at around $30,000 for the base model. The Max version, the one with hypercar performance, costs about $42,000. Let me put that in perspective. A Porsche Taycan Turbo starts at over $180,000. The SU7 Max delivers similar performance for a quarter of the price. Xiaomi isn't trying to compete with Tesla, they're trying to replace them, and based on sales numbers in China, it's working. But here's where it gets controversial. Xiaomi announced plans to expand to Europe by 2025, and if they bring the SU7 to the US market, even with tariffs, it could still undercut every premium EV on the market. The question isn't whether Xiaomi can build a good car, they already did. The question is whether Western buyers will trust a tech company to build something they rely on every day. So here's my question for you. If the Xiaomi SU7 landed in your country tomorrow, fully loaded with tech and performance for under 50 grand, would you buy it? Or does the idea of a smartphone company building cars feel too risky? Let me know, because up next at number 2, we're talking about a brand that doesn't just build cars, they build entire automotive empires, and their latest EV sedan is about to challenge Mercedes, BMW, and Audi at their own game.
Number 2. Geely. And if you don't know this name yet, you've definitely driven one of their cars without realizing it. Geely isn't just a car company, it's an automotive conglomerate. They own Volvo, they own Polestar, they own Lotus, they have stakes in Mercedes-Benz and Aston Martin. When you buy a Volvo XC90 or a Polestar 2, you're technically buying a Geely product. But here's where it gets interesting. Geely stopped hiding behind Western brands. They're now building cars under their own name, and they're bringing the fight directly to the luxury market. The star of their lineup? The Galaxy E8, a full-size electric sedan that looks like it was designed to humiliate the Mercedes EQS and BMW i7. From the outside, the Galaxy E8 is elegant, futuristic, and impossibly sleek. The front end has ultra-thin LED headlights that stretch across the width of the car, paired with a smooth, nearly grille-less face. The silhouette is low and aerodynamic, with sculpted lines that flow from the hood all the way to the rear deck. From the side, it's got that long wheelbase luxury sedan stance, flush door handles, massive 20-inch wheels, and a roofline that tapers into a fastback rear. It looks like something Audi would design if they actually cared about being bold. Around back, a full-width OLED light bar glows with animations. The whole car feels like it's from 2030, not 2024. Step inside, and you're greeted with one of the most impressive cabins in the EV world. A massive 45-inch curved display stretches across the entire dashboard, wrapping around the driver like a digital cocoon. It's sharper than Tesla's screen, smoother than Mercedes' Hyperscreen, and packed with more features than both combined. The seats are wrapped in premium Nappa leather with 12-way power adjustment, heating, cooling, and massage functions. The steering wheel is a squared-off design with capacitive controls, and the center console feels like a luxury yacht with hidden storage and wireless charging pads. Rear passengers, they get their own screens, reclining seats, and even a mini fridge in higher trims. The cabin lighting is fully customizable, and the panoramic glass roof makes the whole interior feel endless. Geely didn't just build a luxury car, they built a tech sanctuary on wheels. Now here's where the Galaxy E8 gets serious. Dual-motor, all-wheel drive with around 646 horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds. Range? Close to 435 miles on a full charge, which is more than most luxury EVs on the market. Charging? With 800-volt architecture, you can go from 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes, fast enough to grab coffee and get back on the road. And the price? In China, the Galaxy E8 starts at around $40,000, less than a Tesla Model S, less than a BMW i4, and way less than a Mercedes EQS, which costs over $100,000. But here's the genius move. Geely isn't positioning the Galaxy E8 as a budget alternative. They're marketing it as a premium sedan that happens to cost half as much, and buyers in China are eating it up. Geely already announced plans to bring the Galaxy E8 to Europe, likely under a different name to avoid brand confusion with Volvo. And if they can navigate tariffs and regulations, the US market is next. The question isn't whether Geely can compete with German luxury. The question is how long German luxury can justify their prices when cars like the Galaxy E8 exist. So here's my question for you. If a Geely Galaxy E8 showed up at your local dealership tomorrow, fully loaded with tech and luxury for under 60 grand, would you choose it over a BMW or Mercedes? Or does the badge still matter more than the car itself? Drop your thoughts, because up next at number 1, we've got the brand that's rewriting the entire automotive industry. And trust me, this one is going to blow your mind.
Number 1. BYD. And if you thought the other brands on this list were impressive, buckle up. Because BYD isn't just a car company, it's a manufacturing juggernaut that's about to reshape the global auto industry. Let's start with the numbers. In 2023, BYD sold over 3 million vehicles. That's more than Ford, more than General Motors, and more than every other EV maker except Tesla. And here's the kicker, BYD is closing the gap fast. By the end of 2024, analysts predict BYD will overtake Tesla as the world's largest EV manufacturer, not just in China, globally. How? Because BYD doesn't just build cars, they build batteries, electric motors, semiconductors, and solar panels. They control the entire supply chain. That means lower costs, faster production, and zero reliance on outside suppliers. When other car companies were scrambling to find batteries during the chip shortage, BYD was cranking out EVs like it was nothing. Vertical integration isn't just their strategy, it's their superpower. Now let's talk about the car that's leading their global charge, the BYD Seal, a mid-sized electric sedan designed to go head-to-head with the Tesla Model 3. From the outside, the Seal is sleek, sporty, and undeniably premium. The front end has sharp LED headlights with a clean, almost grille-less face. The hood has sculpted lines that flow into a low aerodynamic profile. From the side, it's got that coupe-like roofline with muscular fenders and flush door handles. Around back, a full-width LED light bar glows at night, and the rear diffuser gives it a sporty edge. Honestly, it looks more expensive than it is. Park it next to a Tesla Model 3, and the Tesla suddenly looks dated. Step inside the Seal, and you're greeted with a cabin that feels more luxurious than most cars twice the price. A massive 15.6-inch rotating touchscreen dominates the center of the dash. You can flip it to portrait for navigation or landscape for media. The digital driver display is crisp and customizable, and the materials feel premium. Soft touch surfaces, leather-wrapped steering wheel, and ambient lighting that runs through the doors and dash. The seats are comfortable, supportive, and come with heating and ventilation. Rear passengers get solid legroom, and the trunk is spacious enough for road trips or grocery runs. But here's where the seal flexes. Depending on the trim, you can get a rear-wheel drive version with around 308 horsepower, or an all-wheel drive version with 523 horsepower. The AWD model launches from 0 to 60 in just 3.8 seconds. That's faster than a Tesla Model 3 long range. Range? Around 330 to 370 miles, depending on the battery pack. And with BYD's Blade battery technology, charging is fast, safe, and efficient. You can go from 30 to 80% in about 30 minutes on a DC fast charger. And the price? In China, the seal starts at around $25,000. In Europe, where it just launched, it's priced around 45,000 euros. That's thousands less than a Tesla Model 3 or a BMW i4, while offering similar performance in more features. But the seal is just the beginning. BYD also has the Song L, a sleek SUV that's outselling the Tesla Model Y in China. They have the Tang EV, a full-size luxury SUV with 3 rows and over 500 horsepower. And they're launching new models every few months. BYD isn't trying to compete with Tesla, they're trying to replace them. And based on sales numbers, it's working. But here's where it gets controversial. BYD announced plans to build factories in Hungary, Thailand, and Brazil. They're exporting cars to over 70 countries, and they're preparing to enter the US market, either directly or through partnerships. Western governments are terrified. The US imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. The EU is investigating subsidies. Politicians are calling BYD a national security threat. Why? Because if BYD enters the US market and undercuts every American automaker by 30 to 50%, the entire industry collapses. Ford, GM, Stellantis, they can't compete on price, they can't compete on tech, and they definitely can't compete on scale. BYD builds over 8,000 cars per day. That's one car every 11 seconds. No Western automaker comes close. So here's the million-dollar question. If BYD enters the US market tomorrow, fully loaded EVs for under 40 grand, would you buy one? Or would you stick with American brands out of loyalty, even if they cost more and offer less? That's the debate that's about to explode, because BYD isn't slowing down. They're just getting started. And there you have it. 5 Chinese brands that are about to flip the global automotive industry upside down. So, after everything you've seen, would you actually buy a Chinese car? Or would you still trust the brands you grew up with, even if they're charging double for half the tech? I'm genuinely curious to read your take. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if this breakdown opened your eyes to where the car industry is really headed, make sure you're subscribed, because in the next video, we're diving into the 10 cheapest Chinese EVs that could replace your daily driver for less than the cost of a used Camry. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. This is TOQROV, and remember, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed yet.